from each of the two POWs. While the first victim was still alive, Dr. Ishiyama removed the ligatures on the pulmonary arteries while an attempt to scoop blood out of the chest cavity with a cup. In the second series, operations were done on the stomach, heart, and liver of two victims. Ishiyama at one point returned to the first prisoner in the group, still alive, opened his chest inside the heart, sutured it, then had two associates do the same to demonstrate that a puncture of the heart is not always fatal. During another operation, the purported object of the surgery was to reach a trigeminal nerve from the top of the brain. This flower died from hemorrhage and brain damage. Of the final three American flowers, one had his stomach removed, another was exsanguinated and infused with seawater, while the third had operations affecting the gallbladder, liver, and heart. After the death of the 8 flowers, the heads were severed and their bodies dissected. All 8 bodies were then cremated by staff members of the anatomy department. The ashes were discarded, in some instances hurriedly, when the case began to be investigated. False records were prepared to indicate that all the flowers had died during a later bombing of Fukuoka. In addition to the many decapitations with a sword of airmen in the Tokyo and Fukuoka areas of Japan, the same procedure of executing captured airmen was quite prevalent in territories occupied by Japan. Another method was saturating them by gasoline and burning them alive after many beatings and other methods of torture. The cruelty of the Japanese is further illustrated by the treatment of an Allied airman who was captured at Rabaul on the island of New Britain. He was bound with a rope on which fish hooks had been attached, so that when he moved, the hooks dug into his flesh. He ultimately died of malnutrition and dysentery. In June 1942, 61,000 British, Australian, American, New Zealand, Danish, and Dutch POWs, as well as an estimated 250,000 laborers from Siam, Burma, and Malaya, were put to work by the Japanese Imperial Army to construct a railway line 415 kilometers long to Lake Kachanabura to the Japanese base camp in Burma, thus ensuring a direct line from Singapore through Malaya and Thailand to link up with the railway network in Burma. Apart from supplying their bases in Burma, the Japanese had also planned to use the railway to launch an attack on India. The railway was finished on October 17, 1943, at a cost of thousands of lives. The railway was used only once before the Allies bombed it at the bridge over the River Kwai toward the end of the war. One of the most difficult stretches of the railway line, which claimed many lives, was the wooden viaduct near Nam Tok. It winds around a sheer cliff face by the Kwai Noi River. Another difficult stretch was the infamous bridge over the River Kwai. It is an engineering feat which evoked immense human suffering. At Hellfair Pass, trails lead to the Keong Cutting and the Hintok Bridge, where POWs undertook hazardous work in precarious conditions. The hard labor, harsh discipline, poor diet, exhaustion, and lack of medical care exacted a heavy toll among the prisoners. The cruel treatment meted out to the prisoners is a shameful indictment of the Japanese military. By 1943, some of the men were in an appalling state.